What's up, y'all? We are back once again. You know what time it is. Yes, it's a Monday night, and we're here, and I love it for us. It is Cancer season. It is June 24th, 2024, 6/24/24. What? So we are here and back. Being super silly and funny. Cancer gang gang! Look, these cancer guesses we got today, y'all. Lord, girl, hey, the resident cancer in the building.
Yes. Rachael, Cancer,
Gang, gang,
my
gang,
crab
gang,
claw
gang. She said
queen.
gang.
So many
Cancer,
Cancer
gang,
queens
gang,
in the
gang.
building. I love it. Kendra, we're gonna talk to you later. Thank you. I am delighted to be here. I am in absolute Cancer fashion, just at home, like as as I can possibly be for my own thing. But hey, guess what? It's my show and my season, and we'll do what we want. Right?
We is doing this. So, before we get into Cancer season, girl, this Gemini season though, recapping the top of the Gemini season, the most Gemini thing. 34 felony? 34 was it?
34.
34. 34.
Yeah. The Gemini to end all Geminis just going down over some real dumb fuck shit. Rachael, bed rotting over here like a true Cancer. Yeah.
You know,
Only.
I feel you, girl, because like sleep is vital.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, the Supreme Court still hasn't voted on his immunity, which in itself is already insane that a potential presidential candidate needs to be immune for crimes he's committed.
Yes. It's quite remarkable to think of. Now we're about to enter the very last bit of Pluto and Capricorn, right? Mm-hmm. So we're at this huge transition period generationally. And if you reflect to when Pluto began in Capricorn, it was the United States electing Barack Obama. So what a interesting moment that is compared to the Republican nominee for president being a convicted felon for paying off a porn star that he had an affair with and lying about it to deceive the American people before they voted for him.
But they're still going to vote for him anyway.
And the fact that, yeah, the polling is roughly the same as the Democrat versus the Republican in that race too. And it's just like, it's just wild, the things that are happening in our timeline right now.
Yeah, because is this real? Like, I am convinced we're in a Sims.
I don't.
Because
it's
because hearing people reference, okay, not only that, Project 2025, which if you don't know what it is, go look it up. I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna summarize and say that there are a lot of far-right Christians who believe that the world should live and be governed in a very specific way, and if a Republican president gets in office, that is their goal. So just that's a good I feel like that's a pretty good summary.
Yeah.
So go look it up. But just to live in a timeline that seems backwards, like all of the progress that we have in technology and just all of these things socially,
electric cars, connectivity, like,
virtual reality,
AI. And it's like, but also we're going to ban pornography and monitor your pregnancies at the state level.
Yeah, like we're going to ban books, and we're going to tell trans people they don't exist. We're going to tell gay people that you're not allowed to exist. We're going to tell drag queens that it's your fault that children are getting molested. I mean, all of these things that are just so backwards socially.
I Rachael, agree. We have lost the writers. The writers are on strike. We are dealing with scabs. We are dealing with interns, people's nephews that are just creating, like, you couldn't sell a book with this stuff in it because an editor would be like, this is stupid.
It's not real. It's too
This is
far-fetched.
stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
And then we're like, but wait, it's not. Like, this is really going. Okay.
Yep.
Vote in your local races. That's all I'm gonna say, because it makes a difference. And we did talk about that 2 years ago. The Supreme Court did overturn Roe v. Wade. Again, America. I would say that if you are in the Southeast area and you need any access, look up ARC Southeast. They definitely will help you. And we're going to leave it at that. With cancer season, you know what I'm saying?
One's choice to become a mother should be one's choice.
And that. We did have some wins for Gemini season. Yours was, Cassie?
My win for Gemini season is Mexico elected its first female president, you guys. And she is a liberal Jewish woman, which is super cool. Like, she seems like she has a lot of great policies. She's a very popular mayor of Mexico City. And all across the world, and this is a bit problematic for us, not to jump ahead, but there's been a very anti, like, establishment sentiment. And in some places it's manifesting as places that have been traditionally very progressive, getting right-wing politicians into office, and places that have traditionally had very strict and right-leaning politicians swinging in liberal leaders. And it's a very weird time, but I wish the best of luck. And oh my God, I didn't even look up the new Mexican president's name before we did this show.
I wrote it down. I know. We love you, sister girl, though. I will say that I think Cassie's paused for just a bit. I will say that one of my wins for Gemini season was the WNBA and all of the attention and accolades they are getting. You're back.
Claudia Scheinbaum. President yes. Claudia Scheinbaum.
I love that. Cassie said, we gonna know her name.
I know. I feel terrible that I did not do that.
So I love all the attention and accolades the WNBA has been getting. Shout out to Angel Reese. Girl, I'm rooting for you for Rookie of the Year. You did your thing in LSU and you're doing it at the Chicago Sky. So we love to see it. Also, I forgot my biggest win on Juneteenth. The biggest win in Gemini is the Gemini on the other spectrum, Mr. Kendrick Lamar. The Worth. My man came through with the concert, brought all the people together.
Yeah.
All the color coordinated homies. They was on stage. They not like us, ripping they sets, boy, but in peace.
Yeah.
In peace.
That's beautiful.
That never happens. So shout out to you, Kendrick, for letting them know what Gemini season was all about, sir. And forever and a day, we will hold that as our day.
I love it.
So we're about to bring some awesome people on. Cassie is, of course, the reigning Cancer, always on the show. Keeps me in my emotions when I don't want to be, but it's fine. I love her just the same. But we have two also amazing Cancer guests. One of them is also keeps me in my emotions because she is my bestie, mother to amazing children, and my godson. I love him. He's my favorite. But that's like minor. She's actually an amazing chef. And all around creative. This girl's a fashionista, can make an outfit, put an outfit together, decorate. cook a meal, all of the things. She is all of those things. We are going to welcome Chef Kendra to the show.
Pew, pew, pew. And alongside Kendra, we have a fabulous queen who I bonded with at an old terrible job that Tanae and I shared. And she is a Cancer queen, of course, Kendra, a licensed mental health specialist, a badass friend, and a cool gal. Miss Rachael, hello. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Yes. Thank you both for being here.
So before we get started, I just want everybody to know the interesting big three for both of them. I didn't even tell them that. So Kendra is a Cancer Sun, Libra Moon, Cancer Rising.
Oh, Lord.
So like I said, fashionista.
Pretty and all the emotions.
Surprised me very well. Thank you.
And dear Rachael is a Cancer Sun, Scorpio Moon, and Cancer Rising.
Ooh.
We need people with the emotional capacity to save the world.
Like the emotional capacity of the whole sea. Like the entire ocean.
The depth. Have you ever seen the depths of emotion?
It's pool.
Beyond that. That is, Rachael is deeper. We might ever find a way to get as deep as Rachael. We are barely at the surface.
Oh my gosh.
In her eyes.
That explains a lot. Yeah,
shouldn't. All right. We don't need to. Rachael.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, ladies, we brought you on here because, as we all know, Cancers have an intuition, if you want to call it, but a unspoken je ne sais quoi. What did you say?
Unfortunately.
Or fortunately, depending on. Look, we'll talk about that.
You know.
We will discuss. So, for us, we came up with the definition for intuition. Actually, Webster did, but we like to just be real. We're nerdy here on the
dictionaries
Chatline
that we like the best. So, we always consult the dictionary first, though. I mean, like, we're not crazy.
A thing that one knows or considers likely from an instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. Immediate apprehension or cognition, and the faculty of knowing or understanding something without reasoning or proof. That's what we got going on. Cassie, you can go first this time.
Oh, okay. All right. What is the I'm going to start off with a bang. What is the most vivid or strongest, like, psychic or spiritual experience you've ever had? Kendra, would you like to start?
I will. So, since we're starting off with a bang, well, on a little sadder note, I lost one of my cousins, very, very dear to me, and he is a Gemini. He just had a birthday. Well, it was a Gemini, June 21st. And somebody very special to me, and he's highly missed. But the first time and most vivid that I can remember is when his name is Breon, when Breon passed away. A couple of days before he passed away, I was visiting with him at his home. And when I left that evening from hanging out with him all day, when I touched the doorknob on the way out, I seen, this is so crazy because I haven't told too many people this story, but I seen 3 black shadows coming down his stairs.
Give me the chills.
At the time, it was kind of like, you remember, what is that show on Disney that Raven-Symoné was in? What's the name of it? That's So Raven. That's So Raven. So you remember when she would touch something and these visions will come to her. And that's the closest thing that I can just describe it to. This was the first time that I just kind of remember. And I'm like, I seen it. I seen them coming. There's nobody coming down those stairs. I'm walking to go up those stairs. But I seen 3 shadows coming. And I said to him, you need to have some lights put down in this hallway, because it was one of the lights routes. So it was kind of dark in the hallway, walking out to go to my car. And I said, you need to be careful. You need to have them put some lights, because I'm just thinking like it's dark coming up. I just may be creeped out. I'm in the hood. There's like, there's no telling what could go down. But following week, he was murdered by 3 young men. This really freaking happened.
Wow.
And I for a long time I felt like, should I have said something? Could I have prevented? I'm definitely at peace with it now, but it also, when he passed away, it was on my brain a lot, like for years. And that this happened 12 years ago now, but for years, like I didn't say anything to anybody. First, I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Secondly, I didn't know like if I would be blamed, or maybe I blamed myself, a little bit like, what if I would have said, hey, don't answer the door, this, like, you just never know how that could have played out. But for me, my first even ideal of, hey, something's going on here. Now, several things have happened prior to this, several incidents after, but this one stands out to me just because of, just how vivid it was, the darkness of the people, the darkness of the guys. Like, they were black shadows, which, could mean so many things. But that was my first time, just for me. I'm like, I don't know if I'm crazy. I don't know if I'm losing my mind. I don't know if I've smoked too much grass, but
probably unconnected to this.
Something's happening here. So that was my first. Bittersweet,
Wow.
but that was my first.
That's very real. Rachael?
Mm-hmm.
Phew. That's very powerful. I was trying to think of something that was like happier or like a little bit upbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
But I kept only coming up with these like awful things that happened to me where I'm like, oh, I should have listened to intuition. So similar to what Kendra was saying, I think that probably the first time I really like connected to it was this is back in 2005, 2004. My grandfather, I was super close with him all my life. Like, he's just my favorite. And I think it was December 27th. So we had just had Christmas, and I'm sitting in the kitchen, just like, I don't know, dicking around, doing whatever. And I hear him in the other room, and he's sitting in there by himself, and he's singing My Blue Heaven, which is like a really old song. And it wasn't like unusual for him to be, singing or even singing that song, but something like whooshed over me. And I was just like, oh, I think this is, so I think something's going to happen. Like it really, I feel it hard right now. And 2 days later he fell and died. Yeah. But I had in my head, I was like, I think this is going to be the last time I see him.
Dang.
And then it was, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if I've really shared that with anybody, because it all, when you feel these things, you feel kind of cuckoo, but like I couldn't have really predicted that he was going to die, and same for, with you too, Kendra. But it's just,
it definitely has
scary a
stuck
little.
with me.
Yeah,
Definitely scary as well.
yeah,
Definitely. Wow.
So there,
That was deep.
it opened the
I'm
door.
sorry, I took it there.
No, listen.
My bad.
This is exactly what it was.
There's 4 of us here, which means we have 12 placements for big threes, and that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 water placements out of the 4 of us. So 9 out of 12, 75% water. We're getting deep today, baby. Thank you for sharing. It's tough to be like, I don't know, to be sort of have your psychic sense proven right sometimes. And I do think that whatever like comes, like however that exists in reality, whether it is like, you know, people can't quite explain time, so maybe what's happened has already happened and you just like are able to touch it just for a second, you know, somehow in our reality, and that's when we get those feelings. Or I don't know what other explanations could exist for it, but it's just, you know, it just is, I think. And it's not like there to change or make you question the event you might have perceived. Just like, it's just an awareness that everything's connected, and sometimes we're connected, you know, those death is like one of the strongest chords that's going to be plucked in any of us, you know, losing the people we love. And it makes sense that that would reverberate across time and space in certain ways, you know, and when you really love somebody, you would be able to pick up on some of that energy somehow, you know.
It's interesting how both of our first encounters had something to do with death.
That is, yeah. Huh.
That's
I guess,
interesting.
well, and I was sort of thinking this, you know, in preparing to come on here, like all the other things I could think of that were like not pleasant examples. I'm going to be kind of curious to hear how y'all deal with intuition, because I feel like there's enough signs that like I kind of get a hit sometimes, but it's just like I don't listen to it, or I don't. You can, you know, especially as women, we're really good at being so logical, and so I like can logic it out. Like, so yeah, I don't know if there's anything that like screams to you guys that like that I can take away from here as when your intuition speaks. How do you know to listen to it versus it being like, no, just a passing thought. You know what I mean?
I do, yeah. And I think we're going to
Definitely.
dive into that.
I use it
Nobody
as
told you to read our
superpower at
quiz.
this point.
Did your intuition tell you it was
Sorry,
coming?
yeah.
It's definitely a superpower. Believe that. It's a superpower.
I'm real curious though. Yeah.
Well, Rachel's now the new host of the show, and I'm gonna go
Damn.
home.
Thanks for having me. I'll never be asked to come back. Yeah.
Never mind. It'll be a cancer show now.
Yeah,
No more
no,
air
no,
signs.
No,
I'm not
it's
really
definitely
here.
main character
I'm
energy
just
all the
I'm
time.
just floating. I'm just floating right now. I think I'm here, but I'm not.
Tanae, but what
Shit.
was your experience? What's
You
your
know,
first?
I can't bring it up. I gotta keep bringing it down because I thought about it and I was like, I've had a lot, and Kendra and I have talked about this a lot, and I think we both have had instances like where something's happened or we'll know. I've had a lot of instances where I'm like, oh, okay, and I know something's gonna happen. I'm already like, but this is as I've gotten older. But the first one was when my mom passed away. I had went to school and she went to the hospital, and my mom's friend was at the hospital and she said, "Today you have to come back to the hospital and sign some papers." And I knew on my way back that, but nobody had told me, but I had already knew that my mom had passed away. I don't know what it was, but I knew on my drive back from school to the hospital that before she got there, I already knew she was gone. And when I walked in, the first person that greeted me, for lack of a better term, was a chaplain. And so that was my, and not knowing at the time I was, you know, I was a teenager, but, you know, not knowing that was my tuition, but I just knew I'm never going to see her again. So yeah, it's just, I think you guys are right in that, talking about how intuition is usually like a warning signal almost.
Yeah,
And it's not always
definitely.
like for something good. It's usually like your body's way of being like, I'm gonna need you to chill out or watch out. You know what I mean? One of
Yeah.
them.
That's real.
So what about you, girl?
Mine, I guess, is a little less. It's kind of more benign, but it still involves death ultimately. But it's just not intimately connected to me. I had recurring nightmares a lot as a kid of witnessing plane crashes, and it's kind of funny now thinking about it and like witnessing the downfall of our society. And I'm like, was there something to that? But I had them when I was like little, and then not for a long time. And then when I was a freshman or sophomore in high school, I had a dream that a plane crashed, but it was in my head, I was like, that, what a weird looking plane, because it had like a duck bill looking front. And I'd never seen a plane like that before. And it crashed, I remember, in a like field with some sort of low trees off to the edges of the scene. And the next day, a Concorde, which to have that unusual shape, crashed in a remote area of France. And I was like, so that was my mom tells the tale of when I was 4 years old. I don't remember this incident, but my mom said when I was little, I used to always be like, you better get the door. And she'd be like, there's no one at the door. And like 2 minutes later, someone would come to the door.
Wow.
But when I was like 3 or 4, my mom's best friend, who was the only out lesbian in our small town. So she was cool, but she worked for a really rich guy in town as like a personal assistant, and he had given me some of his granddaughter's hand-me-downs, which were like very nice. So I went over there to say thank you and visit with Trottle, and I had to go to the bathroom, and Trottle was like, oh yeah, go around the corner through the, this bedroom, and there's a bathroom right there. And my mom said I stopped in front of the open door and was like, I will not go in there. And my mom's like, I thought you had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I will not go in there. And I was adamant and was tantrumy, which was very unlike me. I was very like, goody two shoes kid. Mom's like, whatever, she's throwing a fit. What bathroom can I go in? She pointed out another one. And then when I got back, Trottle took my mom aside and was like, that was where their son killed himself like 20 years ago, was in that bathroom. So
wow. That's why I don't use public bathrooms. I don't.
She is so serious about
I
that.
am
wow.
so serious.
That's actually impressive.
This was in a private home. I mean, it was like it was in this guy's like fancy house or whatever.
Well, I'm talking about bathrooms, period. If your house look weird, I'm not using it.
Just an FYI.
Like, I'm dead serious. I won't.
Bad energy and disgusting germs.
Yes, no,
You don't need either of those in your life.
So tell me what has happened in these bathrooms.
That's true, though. That's true. There's so many horrible things in like a remote gas station bathroom.
Exactly.
Like, God,
it's bigger than the germs for me.
Yeah,
I want
Fair.
the germs
the
either,
human
but
trafficking
it's
and God knows what.
It's bigger than the germs. Okay, well, since Rachael, kind of led to this a little bit,
yeah,
we're gonna. I love you so much.
No, it's so good.
I'm gonna go with when has your intuition saved you or put you in harm's way?
Oh, I like that. Sorry. Do you want to go
so
first,
Rachael,
Kendra?
you could go first.
You first.
Shoot.
You first.
Well, because this was the other story I was thinking about sharing. This was like maybe 2018 or so. So it was like, I don't know, 6:30 p.m., very sunny outside. I was going for a jog. I was going for a jog, but I came to a really big hill, and so I was walking. But I was in the Virginia Highlands area, and so there's tons of cars out, people driving home from work, lots of people outside in their yards that day, and whatever. So I was safe, is my point. But as I started walking up this hill, there was somebody who was behind me, like not super, super close, but kind of uncomfortably close. And it made me feel like, ooh, not good. And he was black, and I was like, Rachael, you're not racist, so you just keep walking, like it doesn't matter. And he came up and he grabbed me and attacked me in front of all the people, and then turned around and went away, and I was like paralyzed, so I froze. But yeah, it was like, fuck, I should have listened. I knew something was bad and uncomfortable, and I didn't want to risk making this person feel uncomfortable, and so I just like didn't. That was I guess an example of me using logic to like make sense of the situation. But yeah, that's so I guess it's trying to protect me, but I was too polite to listen. So
damn.
yeah.
So don't worry about being racist, girl. Go with
Did I?
that.
Definitely don't worry about being polite.
Exactly.
You
You
know, you
know,
gotta do what you gotta
it was
do.
Because
a
we
good
know you're not racist.
I,
If you don't feel good, it ain't
it
right.
was a good lesson and good reminder that like you can also just like because had anybody been walking that close behind me, like I
Yeah.
Oh
just
yeah.
I'm
if it had been a white
a black
dude,
woman,
I
and
would
I'm
I
have
a
do
big
crossed
the
the
fan of
same
street.
thing.
stopping and turning around and facing and looking them dead in their eye.
Yeah. Can I help you?
Can I
Maybe at
help you?
this age I can do that. Yeah. Yeah, I could not do that then. I was just trying to get about my business.
Well, I'm a black
But yeah.
woman, and I do the same thing, so it's
That's,
okay. You know, I don't care who it is.
yeah,
I'll be
you
like,
know,
girl,
you're
who are
when your
you?
body's talking to you, it's a
Yeah.
good I should just listened. But yeah, that was my example.
My turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it
Girl.
is. Okay. Well, for me, definitely have big Cancer energy, and I'm definitely a "I told you so" kind of person, like to everybody, and that gets me in trouble a lot. But I'm usually right. 9 times out of 10, I'm right, and that I call it my superpower. But when I already know how something's going to end, maybe sometimes I just shouldn't say anything. But I don't know why I know, but I usually know human logic just anyway, But usually I know that something's not going to end well. It's not going to end the way you may want it, or this person like let it be a friend, or I know that these things are not going to turn out the way, and it's not because of the information I'm privy to before. I just know these things. Like I can look at a person, I can shake your hand, and this is so like I'm so happy that we're able to even talk about it. But I can touch your hand and know like I don't like you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not. I today am I lying? And I'm like, no. It's
Wow.
something I can like. A person can walk in a room and I'm like, I don't like them tonight. Today, like, kids are not. I'm like, tonight, no, I don't like them. And that has gotten me in trouble a lot in my life. Because as a young child, my mom like, hey, girl, shut up. I'm like, you shouldn't date him, girl. I don't know what's wrong with him. But I'm 3, like, what are you talking about? Like, little girl, go on somewhere. Like, how do you even? I'm like, he's not good for you. Like, I'm giving advice to older women. No idea, like, girl, that's the same one that you had to shoot a couple of years down the line. I told you he wasn't good for
You
you
know?
when I was 3. Now I'm 6, and I'm sitting here like I told you so. Okay, I told you he wasn't the one for you. So for me, as a child, I've never been afraid to verbalize how I feel about anything. And it's definitely gotten me in trouble with the older generation, like my aunts, my mom, my grandmother. She would be like, shut up, Kendra. Shut up. They call me KK. She's like, KK, shut up. I'm like, well, I told y'all this shit was gonna end this way. And I'm sitting here at 6 years old, like I told you, like y'all should have listened. So for me, it's gotten me in trouble a lot. Um, Now I know how to. Well, I'm learning how to control it because I mind my business. I'm like, I'll call today. Like today, I told you what was gonna happen. I told you. I didn't tell them, but I told you what was gonna happen.
Remember
So
when?
you remember I told you
Every
this
time.
shit happened today. Every time it happens that way.
Every time.
For me, I'm learning how to shut up. Like I'm just learning how to mind my business. The older I get, the more I'm just nope.
That's interesting though. That's a very like you guys have reverse experiences
Mm-hmm.
where it's like your intuition, Rachel, it's like well, it's like reverse reaction to the same experience. A strong intuition that you like to logic or polite or otherwise through your training ignore
Yeah.
and justify doing the opposite thing. Whereas you are super in touch with your intuition, but the problems arise from you being open and
Yes.
vocal about that and other people not trusting
I
theirs.
take a little of
Especially
it.
you cited, like your female relatives. And
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel very blessed to have grown up with a mom and grandma who are like, if your gut tells you something,
you better go with it. Definitely.
It's okay. What were you saying? If your gut what now? Okay, we're back.
Time limit set on Instagram, and I reached it for the day. I apologize for that. Most women are socialized to ignore their intuition and believe that they're being crazy or whatever, or like that
or dramatic, or they're doing too much. They're being dramatic.
Yes.
Definitely. Dramatic, baby.
What about you,
I'm
Cass?
her.
I love it. Own it. So one time my intuition saved me, and it was for me, I have like dreams and then like physical feelings, but this was a weird experience where Brandon and I had decided we were going to move, and in 2020. So this was the end of 2018. We decided we're going to move in spring of 2020. And I was sitting in the parking lot at the beauty supply store. It's a franchise in Atlanta, but we don't have it up here. I can't remember what it was called. No, we have Sally's up here. It's a different one. Anyway, I was sitting in the one in Stone Mountain, and I was like, we should move sooner. And it just like was a calm like realization. I was like, we should move like now, like spring of this year. Like the market is good for our, and then I had reasons behind that too. I didn't want to wait any longer to start trying for a second kid, because like I knew I was effectively priced out of childcare in Atlanta. I was like, I can't afford a mortgage and to pay for one child, much less two.
Yeah.
So we are like, okay, we can move across the country and start over with jobs and have free childcare, and that seemed logical. But I was like, yeah, it's like a good idea. And I called Brandon, and Brandon, who's always rolled with what felt good for him, was like, yeah, that seems fine. Like, that seems like a good idea. And then, of course, March 2020, I'm 3 months pregnant and able to be locked down 2 miles away from my mom and, like, have a much safer time of it rather than trying to sell my house in Stone Mountain, in the middle of a pandemic. And so that was one time where I was like, that really worked out well.
Cool.
Yeah, good call.
I can't, I'm sitting here racking my brain, and I'm sure there's been a time, and it's usually a time where it's like I'm out somewhere and somebody will walk in or the energy will shift, and I'll be like, it's time to go. And as soon as I leave, I've heard like, oh, da 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 happen. Wasn't meant to be there. I'm out. So I feel like that's probably, that would be my best answer for those. It's usually like, I always know when it's time to go.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good superpower.
When it's time to go, and sometimes I don't even say that. I'll be like, and like, I was in a living situation. The kid was like, she ain't gonna be there much longer.
Oh, I knew it. I was like, she's gonna just up and go. Watch. And it happened that way. I told you so. It's gonna happen that way.
That's so funny. All right, Cassie, what you got for the last one?
All right, I am going to. Let's reach back. We're Cancers. Let's be nostalgic and think about our childhoods. So, how were you introduced to the concept of intuition, or like, what's an early memory you have of maybe somebody talking about your gut or your sixth sense? And I kind of already shared mine. So, Rachel.
I was just, gosh, all right. I was just trying to think. So, childhood. I don't know. And I don't mean this because I am here with you guys, but honestly, I attribute everything that I know about intuition and connecting with your gut and all of those things to you two. Like everything that you guys taught me and introduced me to, I met you guys at such a so this was what, like 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I was an adult.
Probably
I just met you
dozen years ago.
It was a hot minute.
Baker's dozen.
It was at least like 12 years ago.
Yeah. And I really I don't really have any memory of like, I mean, I guess the example I gave from 2005, but I didn't with my grandfather, but like I just still didn't really connect to that. But I think you guys, I met you at such a time where I like was in just such a bad way. Like personally, I just got out of this like very, very traumatic and terrible relationship and all that stuff. And I think what I learned from you guys and then you guys connecting me to like teaching me what Reiki was and like getting me connected there. And I guess the topic for a different day. I had such a magical experience doing Reiki that it was like, I mean, honestly, I think it saved my life. So I'm late to the game, but I'm glad to be here because it was pretty. I truly, you guys are like in my heart so much. I am very grateful for you opening up this tour. So
thank you.
truly, yeah. So thank you.
Special. I just thought we were a couple of woo-woo servers, out
No,
here
man, you literally
with
changed my
rocks
life.
in our bras.
I know. No, you just changed my life.
Listen, I don't think y'all understand. Tijuana was the safest it ever was
When
when Cassie
we
and I
were
was there.
there.
I believe that.
Definitely.
I believe that.
So serious. Cause Kendra used to work for a bank, so she already know what that
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Like.
Definitely, I do. But we made some like amazing friendships that we'll have for the rest of our lives. So I'm definitely grateful for that. I love you
We had
guys.
love you guys too. We had a hostess there at Tijuana who she might have, I don't know. It's hard to remember who overlapped when. Rachael, she didn't last long. I don't know if you would have met her or recognized her, but she did at one point say to me that little 5 points in that corner specifically was like an energy vortex, and you had to have like I think it drew together a strong network of us who like needed each other at that time.
Oh wow!
But then there also swirled around us a lot of crazy, and it was like certain people managed that well, and like I feel like kind of leveled up out of it, and then other people not so much, and it was the kind of place that would I don't know. I'm grateful to have been there with you all when we were and like connected in the way we did because it was I don't know, a weird and impotent
Magical.
kind of place. Yeah.
Definitely.
Kendra, what about you?
To piggyback off of what Rachael said, like Tanae and Cassie, like just of course knowing you guys and honey, we've been talking about energies and these zodiac signs. Like, oh my God, it's like for the time Tanae's first question was like, "What is your sign?" I'm like, "Bitch, what's your sign?" Because we didn't like each other at first. She was very mean to me. Let me ask when everybody hears me out there. She was very mean to me. Her first question was like, "When is your birthday? And what is your sign?" I'm like, you know what, you're nosy, but I'll tell
As
you. She
hell.
was like, and you're giving very much Cancer energy, and this was years ago. But
And now she's my bestie. And
exactly.
she talk all the shit she
like
wants.
it was like either we're gonna fight, bitch, or we're gonna be best friends. Now you better pick it. Now which one you gonna do? And she was like,
we gonna fight and
do
be
something.
best friends.
And be best friends. But that's the only thing I can equate it to, being a listening ear. And when I have these weird feelings and these weird like, bitch, this happened and I've seen it before, like and also to like, from as I was saying about my past, like I've been doing this all my life, like from so I just didn't know like why, like shut up, why do you know? So just being able to tell somebody else that understands and who has experienced it as well, and like, hey, you're not crazy, like this can just be your intuition. I'm like, oh, okay, let me get into that. So like I said, like now, like I use it as a superpower, but as childhood I wasn't in.
Wow. Tanae, what about you?
It's funny because I remember as a child being able to do magical things. Like to me, it was magical things, and that's what I was doing. Like, and I don't know if this was like real, but in my mind it was real. I do remember where I would like we would come. Yeah.
Yes, now.
I had the same time limit on mine.
I would be like riding in the car, and I would be able to predict like what the next stoplights, like if there'd be green or red or something. Like that was something
That's cool.
I always remembered as a kid. but like putting words to it, it wasn't until I was older. Like even, you know, when my mom passed away, I couldn't put words to that. Like I didn't understand what it was. And like to know it as intuition, it took me until I was in my adulthood to like genuinely understand that. I think it's also a lot of like really getting to know yourself and understanding like your body talks to you for a reason, like whatever that means, whether you have a stomach ache or a headache or you're like, why is it ringing in my ears, or like, you know what I'm saying, or like,
why is the hair standing up on my
why
horns?
did
I
see
definitely have
why
that
did I
feeling
see
from time to
somebody walk in
time.
front of me and like nobody's there, but you know you saw something, and I'm like, I'm always like, okay, you know, acknowledge, or like I just think intuition, I didn't have words for it until I was older, but I think it's always been an A. I think everybody has the ability to have intuition. I think it's whether you're willing to tap into it, because it is a very scary and vulnerable place to be.
Definitely.
To really tap into your intuition, because you don't want to be like, people be like, how you know that? Like lately, my good intuition game is somebody, I'll ask somebody, yes, I will. I'll be like, oh, you know, what's your sign or whatever? They'll tell me, and I'll be like, and I'll just say their birthday. I'll pick, and it'll be their day, and they'll be like, and that's just, to me, I don't know, magic. How about you, Cassie?
It's definitely magic.
Well, yeah, I was introduced to the concept early. My so you know, my family's Methodist, like, but my parents not really. You know, we were like, sometimes we went to church, not really that much. But like my grandma, my mom's mom was also in an Edgar Casey study group. So like they were, who Edgar Casey, if you're not familiar, the sleeping prophet, he had like visions and all this stuff, and you know, predicted things and talked about the afterlife and stuff. And yeah, I remember my mom and grandma saying, you know, that there was something to feel, you know, if you felt something in your body, like your gut, your body says don't do that, or that person's bad, like that's meaningful, and that's your body's way of telling you to do something. You should listen to that feeling. And I was like, okay, word, like that, but full of gems of wisdom. If you can read well, you can do anything well. Some people just need to be heard. Like, you know, a lot of stuff that's proven helpful
Some
as
people
an
don't.
adult. Yeah. And you know, I think one thing I read later, you know, in my like journey as a writer, that was really good advice and has helped in other areas, not just writing, is, you know, going back to like how you feel in your physical body when you're getting that intuitive, you know, download or whatever we'll call it, is like to know where you feel that and connect it to like the you know, the experience or the thought. And then if you feel that feeling again later, it's connected to that previous experience. Like it can kind of manifest in different ways. Like you might feel sick to your, for me, sick to my stomach. I have stuff happen in dreams. I feel tingling like up the side of my neck and face sometimes, or like if something feels good, I'll feel like a loosey kind of feeling in my chest area. But you really have to know to pay attention to your physical body to tap into all that potential too. And I, by no stretch, am a master at any self-regulation technique, but it's like it has helped in art too, where it's like I've had an idea and I felt good about it, and I'll feel some kind of feeling, and then I write down like, oh, it felt like a icy feeling up the back of my neck or something. And if I go back and revisit that story and I'm stuck, if I can find a point that gives me that same physical feeling, I'm like, all right, that's the way to proceed.
I 1,000% agree. And I would encourage everybody that is listening to us, just because we're talking about just cancer season, like this is a time in the world where you really getting to know yourself, you really getting to understand intuitive hits, intuition, being around the right people, the wrong people, like really tapping into that, because as a collective, we need to tap more into our true selves and not the surface that we present to the world, whether it be on social media, whether it be to our friends or whatever, that aren't like You know what I mean? Like, you got to really understand yourself, and the times that we're living in right now, it is vital that you really tune into the best sense of yourself, because this world is going to eat us all alive anyway. So we might as well at least be an intuition while we're here on this burning planet. Because I don't know about you, but it's 1,000 degrees everywhere in the world,
Yes,
from my
Lord, it
understanding.
is.
But I will say that just, take your intuition. It's not crazy. It exists. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as woo woo, I think. And I think all of us have had that, like, people are gonna think I'm crazy. Like, and Kendra's told me like, I've heard the story about her cousin. I've heard I was gonna say earlier, when the whole motorcycle guy, I know you remember that. But like, this has happened to her so many times, and she tells me, I'm like, you better start listening. I was like, because it's like visions for her. It is so, and I kept telling her, I was like, just ease into it. But
I'm sorry, Tanae, to cut you off, but definitely since I've gotten older, I'm definitely listening. I'm sorry, listening more to my intuition, especially with the children, like with the kids. I kind of hate it because it makes me a mama bear, definitely. And I'm never at ease when they're not around me. When like, and it could be like that my stomach feeling, my sick on the stomach feeling, or the just tingle. I get tingling in my fingers, in the tip of my fingers. Like, when I feel that tingling, unless it's some money coming, baby, it's like
You know,
something's about to happen. So it upsets me. Not really upsets me, but I'm never really at ease now that I'm like, okay, I know that I've had these feelings when something tragic has happened, even something good has happened or whatever. So I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing until after it happens, but I just know that I'm having these feelings. And it could be a day I'm just not feeling well. And honey, I'm on the kid's phone, like, what you doing? Where you at? Are you okay? And they're like, what's wrong with you, weird ass lady? Like, stop calling me. I'm in class, or I'm at work, or I'm this, like, so. And there, of course,
Sorry,
you
you
guys
just have a
know
sinus infection, Mom. I'm
exactly.
fine.
Like, my nose itch. Like, go blow it, Mom. Stop calling me. But I'm just never at ease now, because I don't know. Like, I just don't know. And of course, they're my baby, so I just always want to protect them. Of course, that cancer mommy bear in me, or just just try to prevent whatever bad, even though I can't. But they're teaching me now, like, Mom, you can't save us. Like, it took them to tell me, like, look, you cannot save us from everything. And I try. Like, I really do try, to where it may be a little obsession at this point, but I'm going to rehab, and I'm going to get myself
you
together.
said it.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to my birthday twin in the chat. She said she got tapped in at 39, and it kind of scared her because she witnessed people seeing her light and then sucking it from her. And she says it's overwhelming to navigate when energy and vampires are all around you.
Yes, for the energy
While I
vampires.
agree, I will tell you the same thing I told Rachael the other day, is that it is really good, especially if you absorb energy like that, or you have that kind of, that you cleanse yourself every day and you send people's energy back to them, and you recall your own energy back to you. You have to think about how much you output even after this. Like, I'm gonna go away from y'all and be like, because how much you output in your life, and all the energy, whether it's people you know or you don't know, it's being able to, like, let them people know they can't have it all the time. You calling it back. So
With well wishes,
I like
not
that.
yours.
but it
Okay.
ain't my
thank
shit.
you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I will take mine back. Thank you very much. Yeah, no,
So
that's funny. I knew, I was like, we should talk about cleansing your energy, because that's relevant to your right, Kendra, what you were talking about as well, is that feeling, especially when you're have several intimate relationships that are really, really meaningful to you, like 4 children, maybe,
Yes.
that you ground yourself and allow, like, or cleanse yourself, whatever works best for you to release some of that energy with love, and like, you know, find some peace for yourself at the end of the day.
How would I, like, what's an example of
Sure.
cleansing
You could,
your
like,
energy?
if you could have incense, maybe with a like a lavender, or like whatever scent, kind of, if a lemon, rosemary, you know, there's a lot, you know, and just kind of take it slowly from your feet to your head and back, and envision the smoke clearing away any leftover energy on you. And as that smoke disappears, so does that energy that was on you. You could go out to a yard or a park and like just put your hands, like sit down and put your hands on the dirt. Or if you want to take your shoes, I don't want to get my feet dirty and stepping on ground, really. So I'll usually just like sit with my hands, but like really, you know, kind of imagining yourself as a tree or something, and that piece of you that's connecting to the ground is connecting to the earth, and you are there in that moment and connected. And then when you're ready to break from that, you know, like take a breath and, all right, I can move on. And those, you know, it won't fix, and you shouldn't want to fix being a mom who is concerned about your kids' best interest at heart, but it's also not on you to carry every worry every moment of the day. You know, that's too much for any of us to bear.
I do find peace in the ocean. I can't say that much. Maybe
Of
it's
course you do.
You know.
Water.
It's definitely water for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do
For
that.
sure.
And then I told Rachel, I'm a big fan of just out loud saying, when you get back to your house, I send any energy that is not mine back with peace and love, and I recall all my energy back to me. You can just, it's something that simple, because as cancers, you know, you're open pores. So I don't know. I know it's very difficult for you guys to exist without loving, you know, the world around you and just so much. So I tell all my cancers that y'all are mean when y'all are mean, but y'all are sweet babies. Y'all are some asshole. I mean, when y'all are them claws, boy, fuck you up.
Assholes. I claim it.
Claws.
Don't
Right.
try to get in this motherfucker. Y'all be on 10, boy.
Wow.
Man, I didn't see, except for you, Rachel, I didn't see both of these hoes on another level. So it's just, I get it.
Mine's there.
Oh, I believe
I didn't
it,
escape
girl.
it. Yeah.
I know.
And I'm Italian, so you know.
I'm just saying, I see
Hello,
the from the
Claire.
other too, so I already know it's there, and it's fine. That's fine.
Wow.
We do the best we can with what we got.
Yeah.
So on that note, Rachel, tell the people about you, what you want to promote, why you are the best licensed social worker that we know.
Wow. Good hype. You know what? I will just add real quick too that it's sort of interesting, everyone talking about when they really connected with their intuition, because I had somebody the other day tell me that they feel they're most intuitive when they are living their purpose. And as adults, right, we kind of come into that. And so that's the plug I can start with. I think if you're interested in therapy, this is the kind of things we talk about in therapy. We help you find your purpose, so then you can connect to all the other stuff. Let's see, what do people usually say? I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a background in mental health, and also board license in addiction work. And I have worked at this point in everything from private practice to hospice to NICU to home health to, like, I kind of seen all the things, substance use. Yeah. So if you're
What's your
looking for a
handle that
therapist,
people can find you at again?
It's back the number 2 basics therapy at Instagram. Yeah.
Great content, by the way.
Oh,
Lovely.
go on.
I always enjoy seeing it across my timeline. A nice little gentle reminder that is not patronizing or annoying or like toxically positive or any of those things.
No,
so
thank you. Usually my videos come from like either the themes I see in therapy, because as the collective goes, I suppose, right? Like everyone's dealing with kind of the same things, but so I try to make content based on like literally what is coming up for people. So Thank you for that feedback.
Yes. Thank you.
Hope to see you guys on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Rachel, it's a nice timeline, Glenn. Sometimes you need to be reminded that it's okay to say no. I know
Yeah.
I need to be reminded
I
about that.
definitely do.
And if you like food, bestie, holler at them. Let them know what you got.
Well, Chef in the City is my handle. I am definitely a fresh, new, dipping my toes into the entrepreneurship, food truck on the way. I'm definitely reinventing, but I'm definitely excited about this new journey in my life. Soon to be moving to Texas soon. Texas, here I come. Yes,
They're
I'm
not
leaving
ready for
Nashville.
you.
They're definitely not. So that's it. Just look out for me on my page. That's it. Chef in the City.
She
That is
will
it.
she usually posts some of her food, and
I
I'm
do.
gonna keep plugging her since she won't. She has cooked for quite a few famous people
I'm a
that we all
corporate
know.
chef, so it's not, I really
You said
can't.
what?
I'm a corporate chef, so a
Bro,
lot of
why
things
you
that I do, I'm not
why you
really
messing
able
up the
to talk
name? I'm
about
trying to
it.
tell people you over here.
But
I'm
yeah,
a corporate chef.
I
No.
am.
Anyways,
It's
she
pretty
cooks
boring.
for
That's why
famous
I'm doing my
people.
own thing, I'm doing my own thing. It's pretty boring. But
Her food is good. Her food is amazing. She can actually season. I'm just playing.
No,
her food is
you're
No,
not.
amazing.
my bestie can cook. My bestie can cook. My poor godson, he don't know what like any other. He don't know nothing but a home cooked meal. So he has the palate of like
Of an
yes
old man.
of all.
Nice.
Definitely giving Benjamin Button. Yes.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. Happy
This
early
was
solar
great. This was
return.
great.
I hope you guys have an amazing
Aw.
Kendra. We know you is really into it. Both of you are into the almost Cassie is the last one to join our decade.
Oh,
Oh.
Hey.
yes.
Oh.
Yes. We got another
Yeah,
one
that is
coming up
that
on,
is
Welcome.
Cassie's
this
coming up.
weekend.
So thank you guys so much for
Nice.
coming on.
Yeah, I'm
Welcome
excited.
to the club.
Yo, yeah,
Welcome to the
yeah,
club.
she
Yeah.
about to hit it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cassie's about to hit
Yeah.
it. So
Oh, Kendra, I remember being at your last decade party when we were up on the roof at that place.
Oh
Maybe that
my
was in
God.
Edgewood.
That was
I don't
so
Cafe
fun.
remember.
Circa.
So fun.
And I was
Forgot
like,
that you
this is
were
going to be
there.
next year. Yeah.
Totally forgot that you were there. Oh my God.
Now that tells you how long you know Cassie, right?
Was like a
Yep.
Look
little
at
nugget.
this.
That's what we call Christian nugget. He was so literally cute. Like, hey,
Oh my God.
Cassie, you didn't even have the kids.
I didn't
Like,
even know the man who's the father of my
get
babies
married.
now. It's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Time is weird.
Time is weird.
Time is weird. Nothing is linear. We're all just making it through
Ladies.
one day at a time. Ladies, I'm going to kick you out. Thank you so
So
much.
We love you. This
nice
was
to see you.
wonderful. It was
Same.
wonderful to see you,
Great. I
Rachel.
Same.
love
Thank
this.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh my gosh. This most special of
That was,
friends. I
you
love
already
it.
know. You already know. If they ain't a Cancer, I don't really like them. No, I'm just kidding. So speaking of Cancer season, these planets, girl,
I'm not going to say it's the nicest season of
you
the
know,
year.
it's all right though.
It's not
Because
as messy as Virgo season is going to be. So look out for that one.
shocker. So we had the sun move into Cancer the day before the solstice last week on 6/20. We did have also a full moon, the first full moon of two Capricorn full moons this past Friday, I believe, the 21st. The new moon in Cancer will not come until July, but it will come the day after July 4th. So it'll be July 5th. Mercury is hanging out in Cancer for right now. It joined us last week, back on the 17th. It'll stay there until July 11th. Mars is in Taurus, joined us early in June, and it'll be there through late July. Jupiter is still hanging out in Gemini. Saturn is in Pisces and will retrograde this weekend. So we will have one of two planets retrograding this rest of this week. Uranus is in Taurus hanging out. Neptune is also in Pisces. That will retrograde next week. And we have Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. As Cassie said, we are about to hit back into Capricorn. Pluto retrograde for the last stint of Pluto in Capricorn. And then Pluto in Aquarius will continue to reign. And we have already seen the overthrow the establishment, basically. Like, it's very Aquarius energy. It's very like, bro, it's the collective is not rocking with us. It is we're watching celebrities, we're watching like the value of things not be so important. The surface, it's very much humanitarian. It's a lot deeper than just how much money you got.
Yeah, and there's so much in flux right now, and changing over from whatever has been to whatever is going to be is not going to be an easy process. And we're like living through that unease, the uncertainty, the chaos in the, various governments around the world. And I cannot state strongly enough how deep I think the last Pluto and Capricorn period from the beginning of September to the end of November is going to be. And I don't think I have to remind anyone who's still tuned in that like that's going to be when we're going through our election, and like it's not going to be cute, whatever.
It's not going to be normal. I don't care what anybody
normal.
says.
It's not going to be
Everybody's
cute.
like, oh, this is going to happen. I was like, I don't think we're going to even be prepared for what happens. I just don't think it's going to be, it's definitely not going to be black and white.
It's not. And it's going to be really messy. And
for a while.
But I think, yes. And it's a long game.
Yeah.
And it is. And, we're going to have to continue to push in the ways that we can for the future we want. And that's one where people can make choices for themselves and like live in love and flourish and, not be beholden to a fascist
can afford
state
to live.
Can
afford
to live. It's gonna take a lot of us, and it's gonna take persistence and sustained change. And
I'm happy about Gen Z, Gen Alpha, even though Gen Z, like some of them I'm like, what's wrong? They still stand on business though. They be out there, they be like, fuck you mean, man? Like they will really be like, like they're not as passive about how they feel about things. They're very vocal, one way or the other. And we saw that with all of the college protests, that generation is like, we gonna be out here, and they're educated. They're far more educated, I think, than even we were at that age.
Because
with
the internet and
I was gonna say with the internet, they had so much more community organization, even if somebody helped them do it, but just a lot further down the road. But as Cassie said, it like many episodes ago, it's either all of us or none of us. So whose side are you on?
Right. And Cassandra, my name twin, I love that you didn't give in. You like caught the light, because that's it. We all have to do the thing that's inside of us to do, right? To give that back to the world. And that's the thing, if we it's one of the Gnostic gospels that if you do not if you let out that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. If you do not let out that which is within you, that which is within you will destroy you. So that's it. You got to be your real self, and you got to be able to let it shine. And we all have to be able to do that. We have to make it safe for other people to do that.
It's too hard to be anybody else. And with that, we're going to check in with our Cancer celebrities. Who you got, girl? Who you got?
First, but definitely not least on my list is Chloe Bailey. I forgot she was a Cancer. On our production meeting, I saw her photos on Instagram like the next day, and I was like, wait a minute, I think she's a Cancer. And I looked at it, and of course she is. And I love her love for her sister, and how she was not letting anyone give Hallie any shit during her pregnancy, or for how she chose to do that. And she's just First of all, I love a Cancer female artist because they always sing about the messiest parts of relationships, and I find it very enjoyable. Like, she's singing about, you know, fucking your man and all this, and I'm here for all of that energy. Ariana Grande is a less cool, but nonetheless a similar example.
She is
You know,
messy as a man, Cancer girl.
so messy. But Chloe, you're wonderful and gorgeous, and I love you out in the world doing your thing. And please keep doing it because I will keep streaming that music.
And will. Okay. I'm gonna save another one for the second one. My first one. Okay, so my first one is she is a 90s actress from one of classic shows I've watched almost every single. I've probably watched most of the episodes at least 25 times. From a Different World, she played the eccentric Freddie, but she is actually really well known to be a voiceover actress for so many cartoons. There were so many to name, but I picked like the top three. Elmira from Tiny Toons, I'm gonna love you and squeeze you. Penny from Inspector Gadgets. I know all of y'all ain't old enough to remember that. Girl.
Not Penny. I love that.
I know.
Inspector
And
Gadget.
most famously, Susie Carmichael from Rugrats, the one and only Cree Summers. Recently, she just played in Abbott Elementary as the librarian. If you haven't seen that show or episode, check it out. But Cree Summers, I adore her energy. She calls her and her children, they're the pirates, they're the wild pirates, and they live on a like pirate ship, and she is the most loving eccentric mom, and I'm here for all of what she has to offer. And she will probably be the most well-known voice actor for our, at least my generation. And it's amazing. I was just going through and I was like,
that's an incredible top three. And then we got Foxy Love from Drawn Together.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
So cool.
Yeah, so that's my she's also a I think she's July 7th or something like that. But yeah, that's or July 9th. Yeah. But that's my first one.
I love it.
Who's number two for you?
Number two for me is a musical artist that I was turned on to this year, who's relatively young, but like her stuff's been out since the early 2020s, late 2010s or whatever. Amaarae. She was born in Ghana, raised in New York, and just is cool, man. I started a playlist this year, as I do every year, have for a few years, and it was all Age of Pleasure. that whole album. And then On My Mama by Victoria Monet, and then I was like, I need to discover some other music. So then of course I went everything from Jaguar 2, like, okay, Victoria Monet is so amazing. But Amaarae did a feature on The Rush on from Age of Pleasure, and then Spotify started recommending her songs to me, and every one I was like, this slaps too. Like, every single song is really good, and she's got a beautiful voice that she can take many different directions, and the album has rock influence and all kinds of different beats, and yeah, it's really neat. And
Cassie says add that to your Spotify list.
yes, please do. She's cool. July 4th birthday. I'd rather celebrate her than America. So
hallelujah, holla back.
You.
All right. I'm gonna roll with that same theme of one of, if not the, no, you know what? I'm gonna say the greatest female rapper of all time. Okay.
A hot but not wrong take. Go on.
30 years in the game, she is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, the first female rapper to be nominated for the Songwriters Hall of Fame, has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, has probably in the 90s, 2000s, the best music videos ever. Cassie does a great rendition of one of her songs in karaoke. I got you it. And every song is always a banger. She can come back every single time, and every song is a banger. I am of course talking about none other than the Missy Elliott. Okay, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott from VA with our
Mhm.
boy Timbaland. They was on the one. Listen, I don't care what nobody say. I know all these other rappers is coming out here and everything, but Missy Elliott paved the way in a totally different way than Little Kim, and also another Cancer female.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
love her.
Mhm.
She's also, but Missy Elliott was just a different, all the way around different videos, just everything she offered, the beats, the way she would flip it and reverse it with the like the song,
Mhm.
you know, just her innovation and talent. And she never ages. That little woman is like 50 something and looks stunning.
And yes, on tour, girl. I love
Yeah,
fucking hell. Like, yeah,
they get
absolutely.
them coins though, don't y'all? They get them coins.
I love Missy. I'm 100% with you. Her solo stuff is amazing. Her features are amazing.
Every
She has never
time.
done anything but elevate a track she's been on. Like, so good. Yeah. That's all the love.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we gonna do that for the last one?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Or were you gonna do another one?
No, well, I'm gonna check in with Amanda Seales.
Okay.
She's a comedian, actress, talented woman who has. I feel bad saying she's controversial. I do think that she is, but I think that she takes an unfair amount of heat for her unapologetic personality. And I appreciate, I would say I agree with like 85 to 90% of what she says on social media. And I frankly am very supportive of celebrities who are using their platforms in this moment to speak out about the horrors that are happening across the world, in Congo and Sudan and in Gaza and in places that, you know, a lot of media is ignoring. And, you know, we all, myself, certainly am guilty of just not knowing enough about until you want to say it's too late, or is it? I don't know. But, you know, I, if any of you are following her on social media for any amount of time, I mean, there articles come out about why she's terrible and why she's the problem, and it's just ugly to see somebody get torn down. And knowing she's a Cancer, I'm like, man, you know, she feels that deep, but she also feels what she feels deep and says it with her chest, and that's why she pisses people off. But I have to say, I salute you, and I hope Amanda Seales has a good Cancer season and is, you know.
Shout out. I was first in, let's see. So she used to be a host on The Talk. I was also introduced to her on Issa Rae's show Insecure. She did play Tiffany. She has a book out. She has a couple of stand-ups which are actually very funny. They're very, very funny. One of them, oddly enough, as a Cancer, is called I Be Knowin'. And I was like, exactly, right? I was like, oh, you do. And she also has an initiative called Smart Black and Funny, or Smart Funny and Black. That's what it is. But that woman is so educated, and in African American history, I think she has a couple master's degrees. So eloquent and highly, as Cassie said, highly, highly, highly political, and a social activist, social justice activist. And I support any person who uses their platform to elevate and amplify the voices of those who cannot be heard. And as a Black woman, for her to do that is stepping outside of any type of security that she would have in the industry otherwise. And that's why people, as Cassie is saying, have nothing nice to say about her, because they want to break her down because she's doing something right. Because every time you're doing something right, that's when they come for you. What they say, the devil always come when you're about to hit your victory. So like, I support, and I'm with Cassie. I salute you, Amanda, and continue to use your voice for the social injustice of the world, because other people should follow. And it's not like she is making these things up or she doesn't have anything to back it. She has a podcast. Check her out. I follow her on all social platforms, and I highly suggest you do too. She has very great topics of conversation on, which is not just necessarily about the genocide in Gaza, but also just about the Black community and how we can do better, and just a lot of different things. So shout out Amanda Seals. Also July 1st, like Missy Elliott.
Yes.
And honorable mention, July 1st, Princess Diana.
Pour one out.
2 out. Because we love you, girl. So, thank you guys for joining us. Before we get out of here, there's a couple more housekeeping notes. As always, we have decided to pivot with our show and bring some different type of content so we are able to interact with our followers and fans and friends in a different way. So be on the lookout for that. We will post something soon about it, but this is going to be the last show in this type of format, longer format. And we're gonna do some fun things, you know, because we like being creative. It's our show and we can do whatever we want. Yeah.
We appreciate y'all being along for the ride, and I'm excited about what's to come. I think it's gonna be really fun. I think you all are gonna think it's fun too.
And because it's Cancer season, and in honor of Cancer season, Cassie is our tarot lady for today. What you got for me, girl?
Cassandra, we're glad you're here too. Yeah, I'm so honored to be able to pull a card. I've never done it before. I'm a little bit scared, but it's gonna be fine. So I picked the Wild Unknown Alchemy Deck. And this deck, you know what? The show has been deep. It's Cancer season. This is a very deep deck, so we're gonna be, you know, prepared to receive the message that the collective needs to see.
It's always on point. We know. So we ready for it.
All right, Tanae, whenever you're ready.
All right. Stop.
All right. Ooh. Mercurius, the number 3, Mercury.
Yes. Interesting for Cancer season.
Right. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the message is. So this deck is interesting. It's divided into 6 different categories. So there's the 11 cosmic forces, the 4 colors, the 4 seasons, the 22 materials, the 22 mysteries, and the 8 operations. This is one of the first cards. It's one of the 11 cosmic forces. Ooh. All right. Ooh. Okay, already. All right. So Mercury, signals, messages, tricks. In the realm of Mercury, anything is possible. The energy is transfixing and seductive, just like the metal itself. Since this planet rules commerce and communication, it's likely there are deals, contracts, and calls being exchanged that will spin you into a whirl of mercurial wonder. Don't rush big decisions or get caught in the mesmerizing energy. Rather, pay particular attention to the precise words that are being spoken and written. There may be a trick underway. Maybe not. No one is sure yet. It is said that the energy of Mercury is found in the pinky finger and that its ally color is green. Enjoy your time in this emerald hall of mirrors. Just don't sign your name on the dotted line until what is liquid becomes solid, until clear words are expressed by an honest tongue. Go deeper. Look up the statue Mercury and Psyche by Reinhold Begas to ponder the riddle with no answer.
Maybe use your intuition.
Yeah, watch out for tricksters. Devil is in the details.
Yeah, and we just finished Gemini season. It could probably pour over. Ooh, okay.
Interesting too, as you know, thinking of it as a message for the collective, and talking about contracts and the particulars of words is, we didn't touch too much on Project 2025, but also the Supreme Court this week is slated to issue a lot of important decisions. And, legal scholars are very interested in how some of these crazy novel questions that the court is dealing with are going to be answered. And it's important to pay attention to, like, so, in the Mifepristone ruling that just happened, where the eight justice opinion was in favor of keeping Mifepristone, which is medical abortion, keep its status as it was. But it wasn't like the court was standing up for access to Mifepristone. They wrote in the opinion that if leaders wanted to limit Mifepristone, they should pass legislation to do so. And so it's like they're game in those notes. And if you just hit the headlines, you might not get down to all of the terrible details. So I will happily take that. I love to read a legal contract, girl. You need something, anyone out, you call me, okay? You want something looked at?
She gonna let you know. And I Cassie, I think you're absolutely right. Us really reading between the lines and reading the details of all of the things that are going to happen in the next couple of months, especially with our presidential election coming up, especially with all of these different groups making rules for people that really aren't any of their business. So, see something, say something, y'all. I'm just kidding. Anyways, Cassie, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. I love you. I hope you have the most amazing solar surprise return. I cannot wait to hear where it is. And I hope you really take the time to celebrate and enjoy yourself. You are an amazing, amazing human being. The world is so lucky that you have graced us with your presence. Your soul decided that in this lifetime you wanted to be here. And I'm glad you're here in the same time as me.
Oh, I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank your mom for putting you first and letting you come in the world. Appreciate it. Shout out Mama Michelle.
Yeah, 9 hours of labor. I was not an easy birth. It's not a good time for her.
But Cassie, I hope you have a great solar return and happy birthday. And I can't wait until next time. A whole new setup. Aquarius Words. You already know.
Best.
Cassie, no. What you got to say to people? You gonna put us out. You gonna take us out, Cassie.
All right. Thank you all. This was a wonderful show. Thank you to Rachael and Kendra and to Tanae's Cancer rising and her Aquarius sun and her Aries moon for balancing as much as possible with that much water energy us out. And thank you all for being with us on this ride as we continue this journey. I'm so excited to be here with you, and it's all love.
And we out of here. Peace.